Hello and welcome to this week's video. This week we're unpacking the studies of Professor Dr Tøve Fjeld. Fjeld is a Norwegian botanist born in 1958 who researched the effects of plants on humans. In the 1990s, she carried out a major study into the connection between plants and people's well-being. The study was titled "The Effect of Interior Planting on Health and Discomfort Among Workers and School Children." The objective of her 3 studies was to assess whether indoor plants, used for decoration or a combination of plants and full spectrum lighting, affected self-reported human health and discomfort symptoms. Now, I'll run through the 3 studies. The first was on office workers and just involved plants. In this study, 51 office workers alternated between periods with plants in their office and periods without. 3 months in spring 95 and 3 months in spring 96. They had to answer a questionnaire every second week, rating 12 different health symptoms with a 0 to 3 rating. In this study, it was found that an average score, as an average of the 12 symptoms, was 23% lower when the participants were exposed to plants in their office compared to the period without plants. So a 23% reduction in the symptoms of ill health. In particular, complaints regarding coughs were reduced by 37%, fatigue was reduced by 30%, and the self-reported level of dry or hoarse throat or dry or flushed facial skin each decreased by about 23% with the plants. So, if the symptoms are grouped by the body's responses, a significant reduction was obtained in neurophysiological symptoms, so fatigue, feeling heavy-headed, headache, dizziness and concentration problems, in mucous membrane systems, so itching or irritation of the eyes, irritated or running or stuffy nose, dry or hoarse throat and a cough, while skin symptoms seem to be unaffected by the plants. On top of this though, 82% of the participants reported feeling more comfortable with plants in their office, and they expressed a strong desire to keep them in the future. The second study took place with 48 staff members who worked in shifts in a windowless hospital radiology room. To establish baseline health levels, the staff had to complete a 12-question questionnaire 4 times in 2 months prior to the test being carried out. Following that, 23 planters were installed in the space along with full spectrum lighting. The health questionnaire was then filled in over the next 4 months, along with demographic data, working hours data, and 51 air samples. The results showed a 25% overall reduction in health complaints, fatigue was reduced by 32%, headaches by 45%, and dry throat by 31%. Interestingly, the staff who spent the most time in the room experienced the greatest improvements, showing there's a cumulative benefit to being surrounded by plants. The third and final study was on a junior high school pupils in a classroom. The background to this study was significant problems with the indoor air quality in the classrooms at a junior high school near Oslo in Norway. As part of the study, 3 classrooms were planted with tropical indoor plants and full spectrum lighting. A pilot survey was conducted among pupils and teachers through 4 different questionnaires. Questionnaires collected information on well-being, health and discomfort symptoms, as well as information about how the pupils perceived their indoor environment. A control group of students in the other classrooms were also set up. When the results were analysed, health issues were 21% lower among pupils in the planted classrooms compared to those in the control classrooms. Complaints about headaches or dry or hoarse throats were found to be 37% and 36% lower respectively. No significant differences between the pupils in the 2 types of classrooms were observed regarding symptoms of cold or flu, interestingly. Both groups of pupils seemed to be affected at about the same rate. In spite of this, complaints regarding respiratory symptoms, so dry, itching eyes, dry or hoarse throat and headaches, were significantly lower in planted classrooms, indicating less strain induced by the indoor environment. Additionally, pupils rated their classrooms as more comfortable and pleasant. These findings highlight the significant benefit of greenery in educational settings for both health and the overall learning environment. So let's sum it up with a conclusion. The 3 studies were conducted at different locations at different times with different subjects, yet the results were all in the same range when it came to the level of reduction of health and discomfort symptoms due to the interventions. In addition, quite a similar trend was found regarding which specific symptoms or symptom groups were affected. Neurophysiological symptoms such as fatigue and headache and mucous membrane irritations and irritations of the respiratory organs were affected, and the skin symptoms weren't significantly affected. In the office study and the radiology department study, analyses were conducted regarding demographics. No significant differences in either study were found regarding age, gender or smoking habits among the subjects. So Fjeld concluded that her findings could have several main explanations. 1, an improvement of the air quality by the plants. 2, an increase in the general well-being due to the perception of the plants. 3, an appreciable influence from establishing a more nature-like indoor light environment. And 4, an effect of increased attention towards the employees. We'll cover these points off one by one. When the subject of plants purifying air is raised, it is often remarked that in an office environment, an adequate ventilation system would remove pollutants much faster than plants, and that the air changes would render the plant's contribution insignificant. Fjeld observes this, but marks that a minor change in the content of air contaminants might have a positive impact on the employee's experience of comfort, and thereby result in a lower score on the self-reported health and discomfort symptoms. The symptoms chosen for this study are known to be affected by indoor air quality. Alongside this, it was noted that the plants are all relatively close to the participants, so a local improvement in air quality could have had an impact on the participants. This particularly could be the case with the increased humidity in the immediate vicinity of the plants. As for the perception of the plants leading to the health improvements, Fjeld closely links this with Ulrich's 1984 study, which I've covered extensively. I will link the video here. The lights, as a separate point, were considered a reason for the improvement in the health of the participants, and it was concluded that the studies on the seasonal affective disorder give reason to believe that both the light level and the spectral constitution of the light might influence their health and well-being, particularly the neurological symptoms. Finally, the effect of increased attention towards the employees could be a factor. However, attempts were made during the study to exclude this as much as possible, and the positive benefits persisted long after the initial engagement, so it wasn't considered a significant element. Ultimately, the findings of this study are that plants do have a statistically significant effect on people's physical health in indoor environments, whether in offices, schools, or healthcare facilities. I hope you found this unpacking of Dr. Fjeld's studies interesting. If you did, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and give me a follow on LinkedIn for more on how plants can enhance our spaces and well-being. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.